What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. Let's talk about Shok-Buffs today. They're these little pieces of plastic or rubber or whatever. You put them in your 1911 and supposedly it's supposed to save it some of the abuse on the frame. Wilson Combat makes these things. Some people think they work and some people think they're total trash. There's been videos out there on the interwebs, internets, tubes, of people showing that they're ineffective. Actually, some channels that I like have shown that they're ineffective. But I have something to show you today that might change your mind just a little bit. So right here we have a Colt Delta Elite. We've shown it on the channel a lot. All of our 10mm ammo testing. We have a 10mm ammo testing series, and that's, I think, relevant to what's going on today, what I'm about to show you. So if you haven't seen that series, check it out. We shoot a whole bunch of different ammo. Some of it's garbage, and some of it's actually real 10mm. And the real 10mm tends to put a thumping on this gun. Well, I didn't do my regular maintenance as I was supposed to. I've been carrying this gun a lot, actually. And then the other day, when I finally realized how filthy it is, which I'll show you in a second, I said, time to take it apart, time to clean it. And when I took it apart, wow, the Shok-Buff wasn't looking so good. So I just want to show you how these things are packaged. Wilson Combat sends them out in their plastic shell. There's usually 6 of them in there, but I usually take a couple of the packs and condense them into one. You can fit about 5 or 6 packs of these things into one if you cram them in hard enough. Then what you do is you cut them off of this plastic rib, and then you have the Shok-Buff. Now, take a look. Like I said, it's nothing special. It's just a little plasticky, kind of rubbery. You can bend this. It's got some give to it, of course. It is a buffer. It's not a hard piece of plastic, or it probably wouldn't work out that well. Excuse my finger, I always damage myself, but you can see it's got plenty of give. I can fold it right in half, but it's also not able to be squished. I can't exactly push my fingernails through that thing. These things are very cheap. I want to say they're under $10 for a pack of them. I mean, we have inflation going on and everything, so I'm not sure exactly, but I think I used to pick these up for like really $8 or something like that, maybe at the most. But when we're talking about the 1911 purist especially, will tell you that this is unneeded, this is ridiculous. They'll actually say John Moses Browning never invented the gun to take these, why would you put them in there? My usual answer to things like that is, well, this wasn't available when good old John made the gun. But let's open this thing up and take a look how this Shok-Buff actually looks compared to some new ones. Now, God's honest truth, this is how I was carrying this gun, so don't make fun of the condition and filthiness of my gun and how dry it is, but I'm going to open it up just so that you guys see I'm not bullcrapping you. This gun has been through many different testing scenarios without being cleaned. Like I said, I kind of neglected it, and it was the truth. This thing has been through a lot of firings, and you're going to see that here in 1 second. All right, so I've done the necessaries. I got the slide release out of there, I got the bushing out of there, and we got the spring cap out of there, or the end plug. So with that, you will see that the gun will just slide open, and that's where you see, holy crap, I let this one go a little bit too far. I've never had one actually go this bad. So take a look at that. That's not supposed to be like that. Remember, it originally started out in a condition nice and clean like that. It had no cuts in it. So let's get this out of here real quick. And you're going to immediately see the devastation to that Shok-Buff. This is actually in a Delta Elite. This is a plastic guide rod, and it has a little tiny metal shield on it that you're going to see here in a second. And that's really all that's keeping that thing from shattering, is that metal shield. So I think at least for something like the Delta Elite, we're definitely wanting to use something like a Shok-Buff. See, there's a little metal disc, or it was a metal disc at some point probably, but that's all there is. And then this is a polymer guide rod. Companies make guide rods to upgrade that, but I kept it factory because it works well. But take a look at this Shok-Buff compared to this new Shok-Buff. That's crazy. And that's typically what it does, is it starts cutting into the Shok-Buff and eventually slicing right through it. Now, these can hang up a gun, so that would be a negative effect of using a Shok-Buff. I'm surprised that this gun hadn't jammed on me by now, because the problem is once they start getting frayed like that, they can really gum up the works. So keep your Shok-Buffs fresh. Don't let them get to this deteriorated condition. That's definitely the truth, but it's a good thing that it got this way, because I'm able to show you what a condition it got to. That's pretty horrible. Now, people will argue that the gun can handle that just fine. This is just a piece of plastic, and of course it's going to do that. But in regular 45s, I do not see this much damage. This 1911 is a 10mm. That extra power, that extra recoil going on that slide, I think it chewed it up a little bit extra. I've never seen one go, like I said, quite this bad. So how do we fix it? Real simple. We cut a new one off the card, and we put everything back together again. There we go, boom. So that's able to be reset properly. Back down into that little recess, and we're good to go. Now I have to do an actual cleaning of this gun, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a deep cleaning on this gun, and I'm going to make a video specifically of that, since it is so filthy. As you can see, all sorts of dirt and dust and hay and God knows what down in there. But that's how to take care of the Shok-Buff, and I truly believe it helps. And just like that, even though she's not cleaned yet, she's ready to go. I can trust that she would fire just fine. There we go. And yes, I did use my middle finger. It's possible. Now, if you ever actually do have to use your middle finger, just watch out for your pointer finger. Make sure you don't make a jam with the brass reflecting back. So mini lesson over. But what do you guys think about the Shok-Buff? I've always been a believer in it, but what do you think? I mean, I do run these guns kind of hard sometimes. I have high round counts through a lot of my 1911s. So I've been able to witness what they do over a long round count. I know there's videos out there where people have put hundreds of rounds and they've barely put a dent in their Shok-Buff. But again, that's 45 ACP, typically 230 grain hardball, going at about 850 feet per second. That's not too high a pressure. But when you move to something like 10 millimeter, 357 SIG, something like that, where you're rocking the slide, maybe something like a 460 Roland. I'm not even sure if you're supposed to put those in there, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Keep an eye out for the video where we do the detailed cleaning of the Delta Elite. I've shown you guys pictures and posts before, but I've never actually made a video. It's pretty interesting. The 1911 breaks down to 50-some pieces, and it's actually really fun. It's kind of like meditating with gun cleaning. In the meantime, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you at the next video. Thank you to everybody that's on Patreon and everybody that's a channel member. And until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.